Good morning, Taraga. Dasu.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So, I think we can start the session, or since others are joining. Uh, so
Uh,
basically, last week, last two sessions was mainly focused on some of interesting topics related to this subject. More specifically, the session one we was focused on artificial intelligence and computational intelligence and getting an overview of the content of this subject and how valuable it is. How valuable it is. So that's the major point that we was discussed. And session two was focused on mainly uh, Python. So it's just giving an overview of Python and letting you to get into a programming context because this subject is actually nearly 80 percentage to more actually is focused on practicals. So you need to code, you need to experiment a lot because most of these data science and artificial intelligence, computational intelligence, like any level of the things are like nearly research work. It's not like something like a software engineering, like application development. As an example, for a login system, we can just go through, right? So we can just go through how we can focus on a specific situation. Login, it's just a specific situation. We know how to log it, how to create the code, right? So we know the whole story. We know how to write these XYZ things. But once it comes to data science and artificial intelligence or whatever the context that we are discussing in here, it's like we don't know because it depends on the data. Got it? It depends on the data, whatever the data that you have, whatever the features that you extracted, whatever the things, whatever the problems that you are going to solve, do have different approaches, different solutions, and different things in here and there. So that's the reality. That's the reality in this data science and artificial intelligence, computation intelligence, or any other thing. So it's like a complex situation, complex work that we need to focus on because we don't know, because no one can gives an answer yes or no without experimenting it. So none of the person in the world can give yes, like for a software development login system or static web application, it's just a sequence of things that we need to focus on. Yeah, if we follow the sequence, that's it. For data science, yes, we have a sequence, but the final output or the product might be different. Clear? So that should be cleared very well, unless you might be into a big trouble. You might see some of points that required to learn and required to understand and many more things. That's right. So I would like to give you a self-study question today itself. The reason behind is one is to motivate you for self-study actually. That's one of key point to understand complex topic by self-studying. So the important the most important point from your end is there will be a question uh, near similar to this one. Near similar in the sense it's not exact same question, but as per my analysis, most of the high probability of getting this kind of question is much common in your assignments. So it's good for you to focus today onwards. Then you can get like score a lot. Why I'm telling this? Last time also I told the same story for the students during the session 2 or 3 around. But unfortunately, there wasn't much focused on. After the answers, the question paper out, they will start researching. At that time, it's like really hard. It's like annoying work for you. So that's the reality. Because understanding these kinds of high technical topic might be bit hard. To be honest, it's a bit hard. It's not something easy to understand. What is this? So you have to spend hours and hours to understand these topics and give a proper answer for this kind of a question. But this is a theory question. So this is totally a theory question. So you don't want to bother at all, right? So I will share my screen, right? One point last time, there was two students didn't return the answer at all. I don't know the reason behind, right? They wasn't done any of theoretical part at all, so they got 0 marks. So usually two questions are there. First question is this kind of a theory question. Second part will be the practical question. Practical question could able to schools much easy if you follow the steps, if you follow the work that we are doing during the class. It's more than enough for you. And I'm guiding some of the things to self study. It's more than enough to score very well because of almost good amount of knowledge I'll push to you. Then you can research a bit more, then learn a bit more. Then you would be a very strong person in that end. But the other end, the self-study work, it's like totally depends on 100 out of 100. It's a self-study work, so it's yours. Effort is required. Highly uh, appreciate your effort. We'll go through this question. This is a dummy question. I'm again telling this is a dummy question. This is not the extract 7 question. Oh, I can't give a guarantee this question will come to your assignment. But this is a good learning point for you. We'll see. The question is please choose at least 3 reputable journal papers. You need to find at least 3. At least 3 means minimum 3. Maximum, it depends on you. If you have time, if you are like to the subject, if you are interested, then you can go for any amount of articles that you want to learn and write a research report about the success of using unsupervised learning on social media analytics, incorporating your views on the topic. So what you need to do, you need to write a small research report. You don't want to write a complete research report. What happens, why it's going on, and everything. You don't want to put that at all. Just a very simple article, like about the success of using unsupervised learning on the social media analytics. The topic is success of using unsupervised learning on social media analytics. Well, this time we will do a small modification for this question. Probably that makes sense. What we can do. Hold Right. I have. I'll change this unsupervised learning to deep learning. Right. I've done a minor modification for this topic that we want to discuss. The topic you need to discuss is success of using deep learning on social media analytics. I'll guide you what to do, right? See, this is the topic. Incorporating your views on the topic. So you should be critically evaluate. You can't give an opinion, just a random opinion. It should be an opinion that clearly described with an evidence. So if you have an opinion, your opinion should build on top of some of evidences. You can't just randomly state XYZ things. Right? So you need to focus on very well these things. Your report should at least cover following aspects. So the basic coverage is given in here. Your report should at least cover the following aspects. Yeah, the same thing repeated. Sorry. So the minimum information is required in here. Introduction to concept of deep learning. So this is 100 out of 100 theory component. So you can learn, write, and clearly describe, draw. Rather than just a large number of text, you can draw and you can show some of interesting information in here. As an example, you can go for a definition of deep learning. Then you can go for a simple history of deep learning. Then you can go for real world applications using deep learning. Then you can draw or discuss different types of uh, deep learning. Then under this case, you can add any number of like discuss different algorithms, different implementations, different views. A lot of things are there. Draw diagrams. Draw many diagrams as you can. Then explain these diagrams. Okay. So you need to explain all of these diagrams, what happens in here, what happens in there. As an example, for a beginner, a person do not have any understanding. I mean, not for a kid, but for a person do have some technical knowledge, but new to the deep learning context. What you need to do is you need to clearly clarify what are these things. One option is if you for a lazy, very lazy student, you can go for a chat GPT and you can paraphrase it a couple of times, then you can submit the same answer. But I'm always telling, uh, cheating for yourself is the worst thing that you can do. So don't cheat, do it for you. So you learn it, spend hours. You can go for YouTube. You would go to YouTube and learn. There are a lot of video tutorials. Yeah, you can go for ChatGPT and ask this question. Then it will pops up some of examples, lot of things. Check these references that they are giving. You can go for many other places. Then learn and learn. Ultimately, if someone asks what is deep learning, without looking to any other places, you should be able to clearly describe what are these deep learning contexts very well, right? So this is totally for you guys. This is totally for you. This is totally up to you to do. Oh, you can skip it, no worries at all from my end. So if it is very well done, if the same question fired for you during the assignment, what you need to do is copy paste the same context into the answer script. So up to some extent the work is done. I don't know whether it's social media analytics, or it might be healthcare, or it might be something else. The domain might be different, but deep learning, the theory behind or the context behind the deep learning is as it is. It's not changing. So it's very important to understand it very well, right? Any questions? ඔයාලට තේරුණාද මම කියපු දේ? මොනවාරි ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවද? If you have any questions, you can ask. Language is not a barrier for us. ඔයාලට language එක barrier එකක් කරගන්න එපා. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් ඕන දෙයක් අහන්න. මොකද මේක මේ මම English lesson එකක් කරනවා නෙවෙයි. So language is not a problem at all. Ask any question. I don't know Tamil, right? So you can ask any question in Sinhala. ඔයාලට මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් මේ වෙනකන් කතා කරපු ඒවා කියන්න. Good morning, Tejani. Tejani? Microphone is not working. Oh, now it is. That's fine. So yeah, Dasun, any questions?
No, sir.
No, clear, right? Right. So this is a theory part. It's much easy. Then you can write but this is not the story that you want to focus. You can write many other things that you have researched regarding the deep learning. In here, history of deep learning, you can go for different articles, then you can add references. In here, you can go through different implementations, GitHub repositories, journal implementations. I'll show you some of places that you can find academically valid things in here. Then you can go through for this one also. I'll show you now, unless I'll be. Let me share my screen. So for the question here, then so the first thing you need to go for an introduction of deep learning. So you can ask from ChatGPT, right? So it will pops up you some of information. That's good source, guys. I'm not saying it's bad. Let's see how many things that I have gone through, right? Most probably for the students again. Here you can search deep learning, and it will pops up interesting information for you. What are these things, right? So it gives a good starting point to learn this topic. So it gives deep learning is a subfield of machine learning that involves training artificial neural networks. One of key point that you don't know at the moment, so you need to learn again this one. What is this neural networks with multiple layers, guys? It's like same thing, neural networks with multiple layers to make predictions and decision based on the input. The term deep refers to number of layers. These are neural networks. If you know these neural networks, then the story is much easy, which can be several dozens of or several hundreds. Yeah, that might be happen. Deep learning has revolution by many in many fields, including blah 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 things. So some of domains that they have given: natural language processing, speech recognition, a lot of things that they have given some of domains. So you can apply the same thing. The key to success deep learning is the ability to neural network to learn complex patterns and the relationships without required explicit programming. This is achieved through the use of backpropagation. Yeah, you don't know what is this backpropagation? You can learn it, which is a method to adjusting weights of the neural networks. Still, you don't know anything. What is this weights of neural networks? Don't worry. You can spend hours for this topic. Difference between predicting output and actually output. Deep learning has led to development many applications such as self-driving cars, voice assistants, with them, blah 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 things. Good. I got an interesting point. Then I can search many more things. Then it will pops up blah 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 things. Yeah, perfect. Then that's a good starting point. Next, you can go to. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir.
Can.
Yes.
So I'm moving to YouTube now. Can you see? Can you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. So basically, that you can do is like just type here deep learning. Then you could get number of explanations in here. What is deep learning and how it works, right? So this is nice. I think a couple of months back they have given this information, but guys, it's bit complex for a beginner. What they are discussing is a bit complex for a beginner, so I don't suggest you to go at the beginning for these MIT discussions. It might be a bit complex because of the content that they are discussing. Apart from that, you can go for simple definitions. Some of things might be here and there. So what is deep learning? A small introduction, and there is another video from some another one. If you want, then go through, right? You can go through some of the things in here and there. then you can learn a bit more related to this deep learning. Here you can see 100 days of deep learning. I don't know what is this actually. Krishna, this one is doing nice tutorials, so you can go for this one also, and many other things, right? Many other things that you want, you can learn, right? Then you can go for journals, right? Deep learning journal articles. We want to get a what we call what call this definition, right? So just I have searched in here, or else I'll show you another method. You can go for deep learning. Yeah, I think they have discussed some of interesting topic, but I don't know. Deep learning, a comprehensive overview on techniques. Yeah, I think some of interesting topic I found in here. I don't know, I haven't read, guys. Just check it out. I haven't checked it, but I think they provide some of detailed discussion. So this is an academically valid topic. Now, this information, this one or this one, are not providing much more details. Here you can add with some references too, yeah, but be careful because ChatGPT generates a lot of inappropriate or incorrect uh, references. So be careful when you are referring. If you are doing something, just check whether that article exists or not. Then you can find, first of all, search it in that journal and journal website. Then you can learn a bit more, then come to the story that they are telling, because I have experimented a lot. ChatGPT generates a lot of incorrect referencing, right? Apart from the ChatGPT, I have seen IE Internet Explorer related to this chat. You can go for that one also. I'm just giving examples for you, this generative AI contexts, right? So you can go through this article and learn a bit more again. Now, since you have gone through a couple of things, now you should be able to understand what are these different things in here and there, right? So don't download thousands of millions of things. Just go through one, complete that one. As an example, you just go for one video, complete that video. Don't download thousands of videos, because there are thousands of videos in here. Don't worry, no one is going to delete these videos. I don't have that experience, but I don't know, I can give a guarantee. If you are really fear, go for one, then learn it until the end. As an example, if you are going for this video, what you can go to is, you can go to the video, it's just 6 minutes. Don't download it, you play it, learn it from there. Because my experience is, whenever a student downloaded such things, then they don't learn. They have thousands of videos in their drive, but they haven't learned. So the objective is not learning to download, the objective is learning deep learning. So you should be understand this two different things. Unless you might download a lot of things, you haven't referred. So don't download, just go through as it is. I don't think so it's a big amount for a YouTube package. I think less than 200 rupees, if I'm not mistaken. I'm using my normal data, because I'm not a big holistic of a YouTuber. So I don't have a lot of things to learn from YouTube, because I'm learning, actually. I'm learning from YouTube some of the things, but the latest information I'm usually uh, refer to these articles, right? So because I just want to go for some of the references as it is. So this is a nice experiment that you can go through. So this is an article. This is an article. It provides some of information. You can download this article, then it will download. Then you can learn it safely. Further, they are giving some similar articles. Right? Survey on deep learning, review of deep learning concepts, various frameworks and libraries, machine learning. Perfect, right? So related to this article, they are providing some of additional articles too. So don't download all of a sudden these thousands of articles. Just keep this link with you, then read the article, then come to the next one. Don't skip any article. If you are reading, highlight the text, highlight the important points, write short notes, summarize the work at the end of the day, then go for the article 2. Unless what would be happen again, like YouTube, you just download thousands of articles, those are in your disk, that's it. So don't let happen to yourself. for this subject. I don't know for the other subjects. For this subject, even for your general learning curve, I don't believe that's a good practice that you're doing. Just downloading thousands of things and keep all the things your hard disk. After a while, your hard disk might grow. Then you will delete. So your time is not utilized fruitful. That's very important, right? So this is the starting point. Yeah, I don't state this is the topic, this is the article that you should learn. I just search, right? So deep learning journal articles. Sometimes there might be much more articles, machine learning, deep learning, recent advances in deep learning, all of these Springer articles. There might be Nature, yeah, Nature articles, very good. You can go for Nature articles. Spring Open, again, nice articles, right? Furthermore, what you can do is you can go for Google Scholar. This is one of basic approach that you can go through. Google Scholar, go for Google Scholar and search the same thing, right? Deep learning. Just search deep learning. That's it. See, I have articles in here, PDFs. You can go through. Some of books are there, so you can download these PDF kind of things if you want. So all of these are nearly all of these are academically valid references. So you can get definitions. You can get a lot of information from these places. It's much easy by following these things for referencing purposes and learning purposes. Referencing and learning is like after you have good some information, because these are just academic things, so understanding at a glance might be a bit hard, because the writing style, technical writing, technical jargon that they are using, sometimes it might be a big trouble for you. To avoid all of these things, what you can do is simply you can learn from few other places, then come to this one. If you are really strong, you can start from here. No worries at all, right? I'm telling, even for a general student, the best approach that I have seen. But there might be much more different best approaches that you can go through. You can go for that. No worries at all. I'm just giving a general steps that you can follow, right? Now you have downloaded, you have read the article, you have summarized all of these things. Now you have an academically valid reference, you have applications, all of these things. Then you can easily write your document. You can start writing your document. Clear? Any questions? පැහැදිලිද කියපු විස්තරේ? chat gpt වලට යන්න පුළුවන්, YouTube වලට යන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් Google Scholar එකට වගේ යන්නත් පුළුවන්. ගිහලා ඔයගලන්ට අවශ්‍ය වෙන ආටිකල්ස් අරගන්න රෙෆර් කරන්න. ඒ ලර්නින් ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක තමයි කියලා දුන්නේ. Any questions? No. All right. Now we'll go to the next topic. The next topic is a brief explanation of different deep learning techniques used in selected domain. Right? So it's much easy because you have discussed an overview of these different types, so the different learning techniques, different kinds of things you have discussed in here. Now you need to narrow down the topic, a brief explanation of different deep learning techniques used in selected domain. For that case, you need to narrow down the topic. As an example, our domain in here is social media analytics, but you might interest in any other domain. It might be healthcare, it might be education, it might be transportation, tourism and hospitality. Many other domains might, any other domains might be there for fit for you. If you don't feel I don't want to research on this topic, instead of I do want to research on any other topic, I'm 100% agree with you, because this is a self-study work. I don't like social media at all. No worries at all. You can change this topic to any other, because no marks, no nothing will be allocated for you. It's just a self-study, just self-learning with a purpose. With a purpose, right? That's the point that I want to tell you. Right? So in that case, what you need to do is, now you need to find articles. Now initially we they was asked to find at least 3 reputed journal papers. Now you need to find journal papers related to your topic. How to perform that operation? How to perform that operation, guys? It's much easier again. You can go to the same place. Since I'm really lazy, I'll go to the Google Scholar. I'm going deep learning plus social media analytics. Well, they have a lot of articles towards deep learning, social media, enhances social media analytics. It's a book. I think nice reference might be there. And PDFs you can three IEEE nice place for the research. And survey, yeah, survey article. I think that's a nice article. Emotional analysis. So you can go through these articles now. Then what they are asking is minimum three articles. You just find three articles and then you can follow the answer. You can answer the next couple of things easier. Now, I'm assuming that you have downloaded a couple of things. I don't know, just not now, but later on, you can download those things. A brief explanation of different deep learning techniques, right? So what you need to do is now you have downloaded three articles or five articles or 10 articles or just one article. That's totally okay. You have downloaded an article. Now you need to find what are the deep learning techniques that they have used in that article, because we have downloaded only specifically for the social media analytics. Now that article is focused on social media analytics. Might be different things. Sometimes it might be image recognition, sometimes it might be textual and NLP related work, might be many other things. Many other things might be there. What you need to do is you need to find uh, different techniques that they have used. Usually that article, if you on whatever the article that you have downloaded, then you can find there is a section. Usually there's a section called methodology and analysis. Might be different names in here and there, but usually those are the common names that we use in an article. Methodology and analysis, you can go through those two places, then you can understand what are the different deep learning techniques that they have used. More specifically, if you go to analysis part, you can easily find what are the techniques that they have used. So then what you can do is you can take the information from there, then you can easily answer this question in here. So the article one, there is a, like, you can add a table. Article one, what are the techniques? Article two, what are the techniques? What are article three? What are the techniques that you can write? Right? So these are the techniques. No detailed information. Just some of techniques is more than enough now. The next point, you need to write some of information related to that one. Summary of how deep learning architectures have been used in your research topics. So you need to write how deep learning architectures have been used in your paper. So in your paper, there might be a discussion related to some of architecture. So what you need to do is you need to clearly discuss whatever the architectures that they have used. That's it. Right? So it's much easy. So once you refer the article, if you have gone through, once you read the article, because initially you have some primary knowledge related to these deep learning techniques and information. So you can go through what are the architectures they have used. Then you need to write a small summary, not a detailed one. Probably 150 words is more than enough for a small summary of the work. The third one, conclusion on the success of using deep learning techniques in mentioned domain in your. So you need to evaluate. This is a success implementation. This is a success implementation. They usually write in their article in the conclusion abstract and conclusion most probably plus analysis. You can find how much is it success. They have comparison with the other different architectures, different algorithms, and many other things. So what you need to do is you need to research it very well. Then you need to find, you need to describe these things. And during this time, you can add your comments too. As an example, incorporate your views on the topic. So what you need to do is you need to give your opinions too. As an example, they have used only two algorithms. Then you, once you are reading reading articles, you found much more robust solutions in those articles too. Then you can criticize this article is lagging with this kind of information. If they use this algorithm, they could be able to get much more robust solution than the research that they have done. There is a missing part in their articles. There is a missing part in their articles. And you can describe what kind of implementations or parts that they have done incorrectly or missing. To do criticizing or writing your opinions, you should have good understanding, and this is the best place to understand all of these XYZ things. Clear? So much easy. If you go through these steps, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps are there. Uh, I'm pretty sure you are a very strong student, theoretically understandable in this deep learning context. But practically, it's up to you guys. I can add some more questions to this, but I feel it that's too heavy for you. If you have completed these topics, let me know. I can give the next part also to you. But up to now, I haven't seen practical implementations for this topic in the assignments. So that's why I stopped in here. But I can give nice questions to you to do analysis, and upon this research gap, we can do a lot of things. Usually, this is the part that I'm giving for MSc students. I'm asking to find the gap. Then they have to do some experiment and they want to implement the XYZ things. Right. So that's the story. For you guys, yeah, I don't expect that much because it's an undergraduate work. But if you can go through for an implementation, this is not something really hard, guys. If you go for this PyTorch and stuff, it's much easy. Right. So almost Keras, PyTorch, all of these are implemented. Well, you can implement even the gap. You can fill the gap and you can write a proper completed article. Yeah, even if it is really hard, no worries at all. You can stop in here. But if you feel really hard, that means it's paid for me. No worries at all. Any questions, guys? 100% තියනවාද මේ කතා කරපු ඒවායි? Any questions? ඔයාලට ප්‍රශ්න මොනවාට තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න. කරගන්න විදිය පැහැදිලිද? Is that clear? What you need to do, how to evaluate? Sometimes this must be the first ever situation that you are doing this kind of a research kind of a topic and data science related work. So it might be very heavy for you. But heaviness is not a problem at all, right? ඔයාලට එක ගොඩාක් අමාරුයි වගේ දැනෙනවා නම් එච්චර හිතන්න එපා. පුළුවන් උපරිමයෙන් කරන්න. Right? Do the best you can do. Do the best you can do. This is not really heavy, guys, but it needs bit of effort. That's the really. ඔයාලට චුට්ටක් තව effort එකක් දාන්න ඕන සාමාන්‍ය subject එකට වඩා. That's the difference. As an example, I'm doing project management. No need to add much more effort. because it's much easy. So anyone can understand these kinds of context, project management, business analysis, so much easy. Anyone can understand diagrams, flow charts is much easy. So from a normal student even can grab, but this topic a bit heavy for a normal student. That's the difference in this two contexts. This heaviness sometimes it might be a pressureful for you. If you follow the steps properly, that what I am telling during the class time, you can ease your life. You can ease your life once it comes to this assessment time. That's the time you will enter. වැඩියම වැදගත් වෙන්නේ assignment එකට mark එක ගන්න එකනේ. So that's a reality. So you even for me, yeah, I agreed. At the end of the day, marks are the most valuable. But just marks is not the proper point in my perspective. Practical should be there. That's the point that I want to emphasize. You should have good practical experimental knowledge also. Clear?
Sir, how many word
Any
count?
questions guys? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. මේක සමහර කිලාවට මේ විදිහටම එන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර කිලාවට මේ විදිහටම එන්න පුළුවන්. චුට්ටක් ඩොමේන් එක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්න පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේ පළවෙනි පාර්ට්ස් ටික, ඉන්ට්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එක, ඒවා ටික හරි ලේසියෙන් එතකොට ඔයගලන්ට මේ ආන්සර් එකට හැමම දාගන්න පුළුවන්. Tejani, what's the issue? Internet disconnecting or Tejani? What's the issue dear? All good? No, what's the issue? Internet disconnecting. Signal. Okay. So the best thing is go for a coffee shop, or else just come to the institute if you want. Then we can arrange for you. Others also we can arrange, guys. Only the difference is you can't see my face. If you want, I can switch on my camera and do the session, but it might take additional bandwidth. Sometimes it might take small lagging. That's my experience. So if you want Tejani, let me know. Then we'll do something for you. But you need to travel again. That half an hour, 1 hour distance that you need to travel. We'll see. Right? Let me know if you have that kind of a thing. Then we can arrange a place for you in class. Other two all good. Dasun and I can't remember your name. Videsingha Mudian Senage.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Good. The other one?
Yes, sir.
What's your name, dear?
Hello.
Callum, sorry. Callum, all good. ප්‍රශ්න තේරුණාද ඔයගලන්ට කරන්න තියෙන බොහෝ දුරට ඔය වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් එයි ඔයගලන්ගේ assignment එකටත් ඊය පාරත් මම කිව්වා ළමයින්ට දෙන්නෙක් ලිව්වෙම නැහැ. ඒකට 50න් බිඳුවයි ලකුණු එකට. රීසන් එක ඉතින් මට කියන්න දන්නේ මම කියන්න දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද රීසන් එක කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි රීසන් එකකට ලිව්වේ නැහැ. ඉතින් බිඳුවයි 50න් බිඳුවයි කියන්නේ ඊතුරු සම්පූර්ණ assignment එකට ලකුණු 40ක් ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒක ටිකක් hard වැඩක්. يعني 50න් 40ක් ගන්න එක part 2 එකට coding එකට ටිකක් hard. එතකොට fail වෙන්න තියෙන probability එක ගොඩක් වැඩි. ඉතින් මේ ඉදම දේ තමයි දැන් ඉඳලම මේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට focus කරලා කොහොමද මේ වගේ එකක් આવොත් يعني ඔයගලන්ට assignment එකේ ඉන්නේ social media analytics නොවෙන්න පුළුවන්. medical වෙන්න පුළුවන්, health care වෙන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් travel and tourism මොකක් හරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඩොමේන් එක මොකක් හරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ ඩොමේන් එකට අදාළ වෙන ටිකට ඔයගලන්ට තියෙන. එතකොට ඒකේ තියෙන ඒවා ඉගෙන ගන්න. මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ ආකිටෙක්චර්ස් ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙන්නේ, ටෙක්නික් ටයිප්ස් ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ ඩොමේන් එකට අදාළ වෙන දේ ඉගෙන ගන්න පැය 4කට 5කට වඩා යන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ආටිකල් කියවන්න ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙන්නේ, ආටිකල් කියවලා තියෙන්නේ. So you have good experimental knowledge, you have good experimental knowledge, you know what to do. ඔයාලා දන්නවා මොනවද කරන්න ඕන කියලා. So at that time your life is much easier than you start in the last moment. අන්තිම මොහොතේ පටන් ගත්තොත් ඔයාලා තව මාසික කල් ඉල්ලයි, extension එකක් ඉල්ලයි. Still no point at all. ඔයාලා තව මාසයක් නෙවෙයි මාස දෙකක් ඉල්ලුවත් it's really hard because there's another subject to be submit. එතකොට subjects overlap වෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ pressure එක තවත් වැඩි වෙනවා, වැඩේ කරගන්නම බැරි වෙලා යනවා. That's why I'm always telling last time, if I'm not mistaken, no distinctions at all. එක distinction එකක්වත් නැති subject එකක් මේක. Right? මම මේ බොරු කියලා ඔයගොල්ලන්ව බය කරන්න හදනව නෙවෙයි. I don't want to like ඔයාලා pressure out කරන්න හදනව නෙවෙයි. But I'm telling the reality and the truth. මට ඔයාලට ඇත්ත කියලා දෙන්නයි ඕනේ. මේක දැන් ඉඳලා පටන් ගත්තොත් I don't think so this is something really hard, because we have time. We have another 1.5 months to 2 months around time. I'm trying to finish earliest as possible to give research time for you. මම පුළුවන් තරම් ඉක්මනට ඔයගලන්ට මේක ඉවර කරන්න හදන්නෙත් ඒකයි. sessions ටික ඉවර කරගත්තට පස්සේ ඔයගලන්ට self study කරන්න ඊළඟට තියෙන්නේ. So then you might be much easier, you might be very strong at that time, right? So we'll see, right? We'll see what to do and how to perform all of these XYZ things, right? Great. Here you go.
So how
That's all.
about the word count?
For this one,
Yes.
no, there's no word count for your
No.
self-study work.
No,
Right?
no,
For
sir.
the assignment, it's just 3,500 words around.
Okay.
Usually, I don't know still the paper. I don't have even seen the paper. Once the paper out, I will go through again a discussion, but not like this kind of a detail.
Okay.
මම මේ වගේ detailed discussion එකක් මොකද දැන් මම අද සම්පූර්ණ 1 hour ම අරගෙන ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ detailed discussion එකක් කළේ මගේ තියෙන experience එක අනුව ඔයගොල්ලන් ලකුණු අඩුවෙන් ගන්න මේකට නිසා. Because you do the coding, because what we are doing in the code class is like nearly similar to the assignment that you need to do. Then you are in a safe stage, you can do. Even last time most of the students scored above 25, probably above 25, except one student marks scored very low, just less than 10 around. Another student scored a bit more, but the rest of the students scored about 25. පන්තියට ආපු ළමයි මම දැක්කලා තියෙන සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 25කට වඩා වගේ ගන්නවා. out of 50 50න් 25කට වඩා වගේ ගන්න පුළුවන්. කියන්නේ in class එකේදී කළාම. So at that time coding might be much easy for you, but writing these kinds of an article might be really hard. You can go for ChatGPT and ask the question, but no points because the diagrams are getting much more marks. Text is getting lower score. Experiment image එකක් අරගෙන image එක experiment කරන එක මම අර diagrams share කරලා තියෙන screen. So this one I just told, right? Discuss different type diagrams. You can draw diagrams as much as, then explain them very well. Then you can score very well. Unless you just do very cheap things and you just submit, which affects for your marks. Mami marks ඔයගොල්ලෝ demand කරනවා නෙවෙයි. මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට reality එක කියලා දෙන්නේ. For the project management, I don't want to bother. I don't want to pressure out you this much of the things, because it's much easy, right? It's just learn, anyone can easy. It's learning easy. Practically managing people is hard, right? Practically doing with data or computers is much easy because they do what we want. We give instructions, they do whatever we want. But once it comes to practical, project managers are highest pressure, right? People don't do what project managers want, right? So once it comes to the practical world, it might be different, but theoretically or learning wise, this might be really expensive work for you. All right. Any other questions? වෙනම ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද ඔයගලන්ට? All good. Right. Then that's all for the topic that I want to discuss with you for regarding this one. I'll save it. I'll close it. Go to the next topic. How about the Kegler learning curve? Kegler learned. You can raise your hands. Done at least one. Started. Anyone started, guys? Yes, good. Others started? Not yet.
Yes, sir.
Nowadays, but I would, yeah, that's it. Started?
Yeah.
Good. So you have started with the introduction. Or what was the topic that you selected? Python or AI?
Python, sir.
Good, good, good. You have started Python. That's good. All right. Callum, started? Yet to start? Not?
Just go through, sir.
You have go through. Nowadays.
Yeah.
So you can start one course, spend, it's not taking a lot of time. If you spend around 2 days, like 16 hours, I'm pretty sure you could be able to do those practicals and all of these things very well. Okay, right. Next, I think now, how about your Python now? Are you familiar? Can you understand Python code? A bit of Python or zero Python now? I don't think so. You should have, because I have given a recap last week. Have you gone through something Python? You don't want to be a master in Python, but you should understand some of the things related to Python. So you can write simple variables, you can write if else, loopings and stuff. If it is, that's more than enough for now. And last week we have stopped where importing pandas. Is that so? We have read that file. Is that we have done? We have experimented with pandas. Is that so? Reading a data file. Give me an answer, guys. I can't remember where I have stopped. You can't remember. No idea. Oh my God. Voice. Right. Nice. Well, we'll discuss some of interesting topics related to the data science and stuff today. We'll start with data extraction. Where's my data extraction? Where is my data extraction? Right. Somehow that's fine. We'll do a small practical as starting point. We'll write Python code. I'll share a simple question. Uh, I think you can't access the chat. So is that so? Shall I share it in Telegram? Is your preferred method in Telegram or chat or both? I have shared it in Telegram, then I'll share it in the chat too. Then probably it's nice. All right, I will give around 10 minutes or else, yeah, probably 10 or 15 minutes, probably maximum. Right. So I have shared the question. Will take 15 minutes maximum, right? Maximum 15 minutes. I have shared the question in Telegram as well as in the chat, so you can access either place. Then you can complete the answer and share it with me. I'll give you maximum 15 minutes. Do this time. Uh, do this for you, right? Don't search it from somewhere and don't do cheat to yourself. The cheating to yourself is the worst. Yeah, Kalum, question.
So I have not the Telegram account.
You don't have Telegram. Uh,
Yes.
you can go to whatever the store that you have, then in your mobile phone, then you can download it, or else you can go to web, then you can download Telegram. Telegram, you can use desktop version, or else you can ask one of friend to share the question with you. And if you have a WhatsApp group or something for the students, I don't know. The question. Hello. Okay. Happy.
Okay, sir. No problem.
Can you access to the chat, dear?
Now
This
I'm
Teams chat.
downloading the Telegram. So,
All right, whatever. I think that's the easiest thing. All right, 15 minutes time. Take. Yeah, Kalu. Done with the
Hello, sir.
question?
Can you email the
Email the.
question?
Sure, sure, sure. Give me your email address, dear.
gimkhalum@gmail.com.
No. Hold on, hold on. Yes, what's your email? Yeah, what's your email?
GIM
GIM
Khalum KE
Kalum
@gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Right. Kalum, you know, uh, in it's good to install Telegram or else for desktop application. The reason behind is I'm sharing additional information in Telegram chat apart from the normal chat. So it might be much good if you can install, right? So if you can't, that's fine. Something if some issues in there, but I think I'm I'm keeping WhatsApp for the students. I have shared the question, Kalam, with you. Check whether you received or not. Received.
Yes, I received the question.
All right. Right. Time's up, guys. How many of you completed? Yes. Yes, guys. Callum, did you receive the email? It says no address found. I received an email, Jim Callum, gmail.com. It's not working. Callum, Callum, Callum.
Hello, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, did you receive the email? No, right?
Tarak
Huh?
send me the questions, sir.
Sorry?
Tarak send me the questions, sir.
Ah, right. No worries, no worries, no worries. That's good, that's good, that's good. All right. I think you can send an email to media, CADRA 6734 at gmail.com. Then I can send emails to you.
Okay, sir.
Caldera, CADRA Caldera 6734 at gmail.com. Send an empty mail, just a test mail. Then I can save your email address. Yeah, Tarak Tejani, how about the code? Implemented a simple code. It uses just if else and a small loop. Is that a bit hard, guys? It's a very simple question. I believe you could able to finish it, but nowadays feel that's a bit complex for you for some reason. Very nice. Do you want more time, Tejani? Taruka? Need more time?
One second, sir.
Huh?
Few time also.
All right. We'll take around another 5 minutes. All right, I don't think so. We can give more than time, guys. So now is I think it's a very simple question. For some reason, it might feel that hard for you guys. That's fine. So that's okay for now. Uh, I'm expecting an answer uh, within 15 minutes, but not is. That's fine. What you can do is you can share the answer once you completed it. Sometimes it might take a time, but don't give up. Sometimes experimenting with these kinds of things might be a bit complex for you now. That's totally okay. Right? So that's totally okay. Uh, you can experiment these things later on and share the answer with me. Then I can help you a bit more. If you do have any questions, no worries at all. You just ask. First of all, you experiment it. Then I'll fix if there's anything that really hard for you. Right. So we'll continue the discussion. Last week we was able to discuss the starting point of the data science and artificial intelligence, computation intelligence related work. So basically, we was focused on different steps actually. If you can't remember, shall I share my screen? Yeah, probably that's good. I think. Hold on. I will share my screen first of all. Go to one of. Come, guys. That's fine. Stop the coding now. You can do it later on and share the answer with me. So I will share my screen again. Go. So some of topics that we was focused on the data related work. So today the discussion will continue from there onwards. Here is the story that we was stopped. We was discussed some of the interesting things related to this flow. Actually, as I told you, I can't specify this is the exact same flow that fit for all the things, but most of the part you can cover by these kinds of steps. So basically, what I want to emphasize in here, some of steps related to this discussion. So first of all, we want to define a problem. As I'm always telling, we want a question to solve, a problem to solve. As an example, whether uh, whether we have an opportunity to get this kind of a job or not, or forecast stock market, predictions of the stock market, what happens tomorrow, whether my stocks will higher or lower, whether there might be a rainy day or a sunny day, tomorrow will be a rainy day or sunny day. Right? So whether I get a distinction for the subject or not, yeah, that's a good question. Yes, right. So you can go for number of things, the problems. It's not just what we call predictions. You can have like similarities or find if different kinds of patterns. And a lot of questions are there related to this data science, artificial intelligence. In the sense, like it's not basically computer science. It's just basically a general problem, a social problem, or some financial problem, or any other thing that a problem, or simply it's a problem. So we want to solve these problems by problems, right? Problems to are solving by problems. Problems are solving with data. It generates another set of problems, and it's like annoying work after a while. No, it's not annoying work. It's just fun work, guys. If you practice these things, in the other hand, you can earn, right? There are a lot of opportunities are growing. So give your maximum push. If you follow the course very well, I can give a guarantee above 50 percentage. That means around 60 percentage of guarantee. If you have done a very well a good job for this subject, you will get a good job opportunities, because a lot of opportunities are there. You just go for any other job portal in Sri Lanka or any other worldwide. So the openings are higher, very large number of job openings are there. Some of the things are really hard, some of the things are much easier. As an example, that collections of the data and sort of these are much easy, but developing algorithms are a bit hard. So you just give for that level. අපි අර කියන්නේ අහස අල්ලන්න පැන්නොත් උළුවස් හරි අල්ල ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා, right? So give a try, right? Give a try to do the maximum, um, as maximum as you can. we have different competencies. We'll see what we can do, right? So the problem is start from there. Then the second step is collection of the data. We want to collect relevant data for this problem, which is the first task that we are going to discuss today. And we want to go for data cleansing. We go to data analysis. So then the major part of data science related stuff will stop from here. Then model development, validation, and the deployment. Then after it goes to the maintenance work for the deployment and the model. So first few weeks focus on, like today, data collection is not a detailed topic. It's just an overview. It's much easy for understanding, but data cleansing and data analysis will take a bit more time. And model development, it takes much time because the main objective of this subject is model development and algorithmic implementation. So vast majority of time spending into this one. Validation is not taking a lot of time. It's much easy. Apart from this flow, I would give some additional references, additional information in here and there, out of our scope, but it's good for you, right? Out of our scope, but it's good for your life and your learning curve. So as we can see, the problem definition, it's up to you. It's up to you how to define a problem. What is the problem that you want to define? You define. It might be an organizational problem. It might be a personal problem, any other problem. Like some of problems we are unable to solve, right? That's fine. But there are a lot of problems that we can solve using data. So data is the core. So whenever we define a problem, we have to find relevant data. That means we have to start data collection, right? So that's the place that I want to stop from there onwards. The whatever thing that we discussed last week up to that. Then we'll come to the today discussion, the starting of the today discussion, which is important theoretical component for you today. Again, a bit lazy nowadays. Data extraction, right? First of all, what is data extraction? It's a small introduction. So data extraction means taking data from any other place. Taking data from any other place. We have to discuss what are these any other places, but for now, just think different kinds of data method or data extraction, pulling out the data, pulling out the data, here, retrieving or pulling out the data. We take in the data. We have uh, we have extracted data a lot in our life. From For now, you have extracted from books, you have extracted from video tutorials and many other places for your knowledge. Now we are going to solve another set of problems using our knowledge, right? But it's different than your education or the learning data extraction, because our ultimate objective is solving a problem based on data. But we'll see what are the different sources. From various sources, we have different sources. We are extracting data from various sources, converting into structured format analysis. So the data extraction is a good process, right? The good process that we want to focus is taking data from various sources, and we are ready to analyze. So that's the ultimate goal, basic thing. Well, we'll do a small question. Here you have a simple question. I have created a QR code also. If you want, you can go for that. If you want this link, I can share the link in the chat. Whatever the preferred method you can go through, I will share the link in both places. I have shared in the chat. I have shared it in the chat. Yes. But I have shared it in the Telegram. Right, I have shared it in the Telegram. I have shared it in the chat. Any other methods? Callum, you joined to the chat, so no worries now. Any others do have any questions, guys? No, all good. All right, then nice.
No, sir, I already joined the
You
chat.
joined, right? Great. Right, give a try. I will give 2 minutes. All right, so we'll see the answers. Yeah, I have received only one answer. Well, yeah, I have received only one answer. Is that so? Yeah, we want data extraction methods. What are the methods that you know for data extraction? I have received one answer. Others? All right, somehow. Thank you for the response. I think student misunderstood the question. Sometimes that might be the reason for that answer, which is totally incorrect. So nothing to discuss in that question. It's just an incorrect answer. So we'll come and we'll discuss. Yes, we'll discuss data extraction methods, some of data extraction methods that you can find in general terms, but there might be some specific and advanced methods. Yeah, of course. If you found some additional methods, you can share it with me also. That's good. so I can update this information. There are some of common methods used for data extraction. One of very basic one is surveys. Surveys involve asking set of questions to sample of individuals, either face-to-face interviews, yeah, there might be phone calls or online questionnaires, or there might be some physical. Nowadays, I can't find a lot of physical questionnaires, so, but paper-based questionnaires. I'm speaking about physical in the sense uh, paper-based questionnaires. It's just a very basic story. So these surveys involve asking a set of questions. I'm pretty sure you have answered any of these surveys or questionnaires. They are asking basically some of information related to yourself, your age, your gender, some of additional information where you are living, like some of information. Then it comes to the question that they want to ask, as an example, whether you are using Facebook and Twitter and something, or what you are using Facebook for, what's the purpose of the usage of Facebook, and why don't you use TikTok, and finally they are telling rate the these features are good or bad, that kind of a thing. Time to time, if you have some experience with YouTube, they are asking, how about your experience? Have you seen, how about your experience? You can add a happy face or a sad face, or you can add some details comment and stuff. Additionally, some of questionnaires are quite small, like that survey, and sometimes once you give a call using WhatsApp or Telegram, they are asking, are you happy with this call? Then you can rate 1 star to 5 star. So this is a simple input from you. Then they're asking, if you are telling something really bad, then they ask him why you are unhappy, any reason behind that kind of. Further the discussion will, I would like to take another level. Some of surveys giving uh, additional compensations for you, additional revenues for you, additional what we call a profit or some amount for you. It might be not just money. Some of them for the paid surveys are there. You can earn by filling these surveys. Yeah, obviously there are some of organizations, they want to collect information. For that they are paying for you. Not a big amount, just some of small amount they are giving for you. Then you can earn money by giving some of information. Yeah, that's again questionnaire. Furthermore, some of organizations gives an like indirect intensives for you. As an example, if you go for a pizza restaurant or a coffee restaurant or somewhere, sometimes after filling the customer survey, they are giving some of discount, 20 percentage discount or 10 percentage discount for the next visit, or else they give a coffee, a free coffee or a cookie or something that they are giving, right? So it's an indirect intensive for you, some of additional um, point for a customer to come and give an information for us, sometimes an ice cream, right? So these are, all of these are surveys. Why these surveys? They want to collect data from the external environment. What are the issues in our environment? What are the problems in our environment? Is there any problem? Is there any issue going on this area, kitchen or any other place? Right. So all of these are surveys. They are like, at that time your personal information might not ask as it is, but they ask directly about the services that you received. So different kinds of questions might fire. At the end of the day, there are a set of questions. You answer in the set of questions. Then people might interact with that survey and let you to gain something, or sometimes it's just free of charge you are doing. Sometimes once you got annoying, then you definitely fill a survey and tell, this is the worst experience that I have. All of these are surveys. Anyone do have any experience with the survey? How about your experience? Anyone? Are you personally filling all of these surveys or keep quiet? I don't want kind of thing. No, all good. All right then. We'll go to the next one. Interviews. Actually, interviews are one-to-one conversations. So for an individual, sometimes it might be set of groups. Right? So you're asking questions. Usually, an interview conduct one-to-one, but there might be some interviews with a set of common people. You're asking set of questions with and it's usually structured or semi-structured. Structured in the sense the questions that you are asking is highly organized. Think you are going for an interview with an CEO or a director or someone. They are very busy people. They don't have time to spend a lot. You can take around 10 to 15 minutes maximum. So they have lot of work to do. Since this is very limited time, so you have to be well prepared. You have to be asked, you have to ask the questions only most specific and most required. If you're asking something out of the scope, then that person might get upset and say, all right, thanks, you can meet me later on. So you should be well prepared. What are the questions that you are asking, how many questions that you are asking, and how how much valuable for your findings. Finding is in the sense the initial question that you have defined. As an example, think now you are going. Think there was a time that COVID-19 was gone, right, in Sri Lanka, everywhere, and think a situation that some of the people like big heads in Sri Lanka got into different interviews. So at that time, think you are going for an interview for one of health head of in some place, then they are in a very busy tied time. And in the other hand, the question is very powerful, that the question is you are related to COVID-19, so you should ask directly related to COVID-19, not to any other thing. So it's your sole responsibility to understand what is the problem that you are going to solve, whether these questions are related to my question or not. You have a question and you should ask the questions related to your problem that you are going to solve. There might be group interviews too. Yeah, there might be group interviews, set of people, not a large set of, probably less than 10 people join together, then you directly ask questions from them. Sometimes raising hands might be the whole story. Observations. Now, observational methods involving with observing and recording the behavior of individuals or groups in nature or controlled setting. Observation is a different mechanism. You keep quiet and you don't want to bother anyone else. You just search, you just go through what happens in here and there, right? You just search what happens in here and there. So usually this what we call observations and the uh, record writing, you should be an active observer. What happens in this time and what happens in that time. I will give a real world example for you. Think you want to, your problem is what is the like what is the longest queuing time, like queue time in a train ticket queue. Okay. I don't know whether you have this experience or not. I have personally this experience very well. Whenever we are traveling by a train, we have different time slots that have big queues and a small queue. So the question in our problem is the problem that we are going to solve is how to minimize this queue. For that, how many queues that we want to open and stuff. That's the problem. It's a big problem that we are going to solve. Somehow we want to collect the data. For that, what we can do, we can take a book and pen and sit near in a queue and count down the people in each and every minute or each and every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, how many people in a ticket counter, how many people in the queue and how many of them are processing and stuff. So it's interesting, right? So One method is you can go for a physical sitting and you can go through all of these XYZ things and you can write. On the other hand, you can set up a CCTV if they allowed, if no concerns with personal or privacy issues. You can set up a CCTV, then you can record all the information, then easily you can capture all of these things. Those are also observations. Clear? Not just sitting and learning what happens. You are not just looking what happens in the environment. You are actively engaged in collecting data, what happens in each and every places. As an example, one person joined for the queue. After a while, all of a sudden the person left for some reason. And when when a train arrives, people in a queue, they just leave without tickets. I don't know whether you have this experience or not. This is real world examples that I'm giving, right? What happens in here? They collect the data, they observed a lot. The observations are going through like that. It's an active observation, not just sitting and sleeping half an hour. You just go through what happens real world. Think government officers, there might be a big queue, so you can observe the information why there's a queue for an observation purposes. Or heavy traffic, you can observe, especially when there is a junction, there is a traffic, obvious situation, then you can find whether the issue with the policeman. Whenever some policemen are in a junction, it's an annoying experience. I don't know whether you have this or not. I have. And in the other hand, sometimes traffic lights mess up the people, the timing and stuff. So different observations that you can collect, then you can give take all of these information as your primary source for the analysis. So the data that you can collect. Our ultimate objective of this collection of data is to solve a problem. So we want to extract as much as features, as much as data that we can find. If we, after a while, we can modify and do XYZ things. Yeah, agreed. But for now, we want to collect a lot, a bit more. You can go for an experiment involved with multiple manipulating one or more variables and observations the effect on the other variables, often in controlled laboratory setting. You know, experiments, we can take a lot of data. It generates a lot. It's not just taking an animal like a rat and do the experiments, not just chemicals and do the experiments, but there might be taking social data, taking geographical data, taking atmosphere data. So a lot of data can be take and we can experiment. I will discuss with this independent and the dependent variable later on. Basically, these are the variables that we are focusing on. For now, you just think that is the variable. One is the variable that we want to check. The other one is it's automatically happening. As an example, think person education or the answers marks, number of hours that the student is spending for studying, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours, and sometimes it might be 7 hours. Here a person who's studying 15 hours might be, then we can map. This is the variable that we are marking each and every day. What we are doing is we have students, then we mark how many students or one specific student will take life easier. One specific student, a specific student, we are telling all right, you have studied 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour, and we can map it. Then yeah, well, the results are like marks are released. The students who learned just 1 hour per day got only 30 marks. We'll assume, just assumptions, guys. 30 marks, and there might be in between some of the range. And we'll assume the student who didn't go something zero. Then here you can see 1 hour to marks like this. So a student who learned around 3 hours per day got highest marks. I'm just telling that. So this is a variable that fixed. We want to check it. This is the x-axis, and y-axis it's independent. This is the dependent. This is an independent. We can't do anything. So these are the variables. This is the variable one. This is the variable two. Variable one is the hours that we spent for learning. Variable two is the marks that we received. So likewise we can map. So it's often in a controlled laboratory setting, but it's something else also. But usually we have to control some of settings. As an example, the same subject, control settings, right? Control setting for this graph should be for same math or commerce or science or geography or data science or any other thing. If we mark for different subjects, then it's totally incorrect, isn't it? It's totally incorrect. And same grade 7 students, and we should not select the best student in the class in all the places. As an example, we are taking a sample of best students in Sri Lanka and keeping this evaluation, and we are telling, all right, an average student to get highest marks is 3 hours. Not really. Not really. There are some of students who just learn few hours, then they score very well. Some of students spend hours and hours and hours, but they got low marks. This is something real. This is something real, right? So we want to experiment in a control setting. We want to control the other factors than the factors that we focused on. The factors that means these features, feature one and feature two, the hours and the marks. Any questions? Clear? Clear? Case studies. Case studies involve in-depth analysis of single, individual, group, or event, often using multiple sources of data. There are a lot of case studies are there. Some of case studies are discussing what happened, right? What happened actually? What was happened? How this was gone? These are case studies. How this organization defeated these other organizations. What are the strategies that they have focused on? Some of case studies discussing how this algorithm supports to improve the organization XYZ things. So a lot of case studies are there to learn what happens, what is going on, what was happened. So all of these things are clearly interpreting in these case studies. Secondary data sources. Secondary data sources involve using existing data that has been collected for other purposes. See, the data was collected for another purposes, but we are using for another purpose, because the question that the initial problem was something they solved or not, that's fine. But for our problem, we can use the same data set and we can solve it. As an example, think we have collected data from social media in a given like YouTube video or something, or Facebook profile page or something, for some reason, whether how many people are interacting for this kind of a video, funny videos and horror or crying, sad, teledramas or any other thing. That's the original purpose. They want to find what is the best category for a video or something. But after a while, what we are doing is we are taking the same data set for our research. Our research is natural language processing. We are searching how these text use for these kinds of things. Now, initially, the primary purpose of their question is to check what is the best category. Our problem is what are the text that they use for take popularity or something. Collect the other purposes. Initially, the data collected for something else, but now we are using for something another purpose, such as government statistics, academic research, or social media data. It's obvious, especially the government data. Initially, they collected population and different races, religions, and stuff. You can talk. These kinds of working happening. These reasons. File passing. It's very common. Processing files. File passing involves. File passing means processing the files. Yeah, we have done some work last week, and next week onwards we are doing heavy work on these things. File passing involves extracting data from various file formats such as CSV, XML, or JSON using programming languages of database. Yeah, we have some experience. The data is stored in a file, then we extract the data to data frame or something, then we start processing that data. This is a primary data source. A lot of data stored in these files. Optical character recognition, which is this file information but in a different format, usually in a physical uh, book or somewhere. Then what we are doing is we collect the data, scanned image or PDF files to machine readable text. It's like a conversion process or something, like taking physical data and converting into some textual information. That's another source of a problem, the data that we can find. More sensor data, obviously. Sensors are the one of best data source that currently we can find. It generates, it sensed all the other information, temperature, pressure, the sunlight, all of these information, the location, all of these are based on these sensor data. So these sensors are generating a lot of data. As an example, you are traveling from Matara to Colombo and you are using Google Maps. See how much of data that you generated while you are traveling. You come to this place, you come to this highway, then you come to this place. The speed of your vehicle is these kinds of things. All of these things because of these sensor data. Your mobile phone to have installed all of these data. So what happens in here, this mobile generates all the data and it gives to the relevant places. Then the people who develop these applications takes your data and process it and gives some information for you, your speed, yeah, where you are actually, and all this information in there. So sensors are one of very powerful tool for data gathering, but it depends on the problem. As an example, you are trying to solve whether how many likes in a, like how the likes are trending in my video. You don't want sensor data at that time. That's why I'm always telling, the data that we want to focus is based on the what we call problem, the same problem, number of likes in a general, in a specific geolocation. Then we want a sensor. You got it? How many likes in that video? Yeah, that's fine. We don't want any sensors. But how many likes in given location? Then we want sensor. Got it? That's why I'm always stating the problem is one of very powerful. Based on that problem, to solve that problem, we have to find the relevant data. Manual data entry, yeah, it's some of very old method, but it's like taking hours and hours and hours to enter the data. Some of manual places like papers, newspapers, some of information might be there. So we want to enter all of these say all of data into digital sources and entering it into the structured format. This is the reality that we want to solve, right? So some of things there is not in digital format, so we want to manually enter. There are data entry workers who are entering these data to the systems. It takes time and effort, and sometimes it might be corrupted, sometimes it might be inappropriate, inaccurate, some issues might be there. That's the reality. A bit more complex but most usable concepts I'll discuss now. One is web scraping. Web scraping means we are extracting data from web pages uh, for our analysis purpose. At a glance, there might be an argument whether it's legal or not. It's up to you. You learn it and you do. I can't state it's uh, anything. Usually it's usually web scraping is inappropriate, and fundamentally that's bad work, right? It's a bad work. So but in some instances there is no option than web scraping. In such instances we need to scrape data, but check the ethical and legal aspects before you are going for web scraping. If it is illegal, unethical, please don't do it. Don't do bad things, always do good things only. So it's your sole responsibility to understand web scraping. It's just going for a website or a web page, then you access through all the information and save it into a CSV file or something. Next, database queries. It's obvious. Organizational level, we have a lot of databases. Usually, lot of databases we have. So what we are doing is we are querying all of these data. It might be SQL or NoSQL or any other type of a database. Then what we are doing is we are extracting that data for our research paper. So to solve the question, I think you all have this experience. Extracting data from databases, SQL or any other thing. Then you do some of additional work after that. But initially, it's just a simple select query or some of advanced queries that you are going to use. So that's the reality of this data extraction using databases. Right, one more question, one more information. APIs, one of very powerful guys, very powerful data extraction method nowadays. Application programming interfaces. What are these APIs? Basically, APIs are uh, defined or developed by an organization or set of people because they have data sources. What they are doing is they um, expose some of data to the general public or special developers or any other people. Then you can do some of the things like extraction of data from backend. What they are telling extraction from backend. That means you can access to their, not the database, but for a view, a small portion of that database, an additional layer of the data. Then we can extract. But first of all, we need to get authorization. We need to give consultation. Sometimes we want to go through some of additional approval processes. Sometimes, like lot of things that we need to do. But generally, APIs allowed us to do a lot. Anyone do have this kind of experience? APIs, working with APIs. No? Anyone? Whether I can show you some of API work for you. I'll show you guys one example of this API work. Unless you might, others, I think you can understand. Those are very basic things. But APIs might be a bit new for you, so we'll discuss that. I'm not sure whether I have access. Developer. Yeah, well, I think no, not that one. I'll log into my portal first of all. Right. Yes, I will share my screen now. I have logged into the Twitter developer portal. I have access to this one, even you can apply and get this access. It's not a big deal. It's just a simple form you need to fulfill. Right. So this is the developer poll. You can see it's not the standard developer account. You can see in here, developer.twitter.com. Usually APIs are used by developers, not by the uh, general people. General people, they have front end or GUI for access, right? So here you can see the developer portals app page, which is the apps page, right? So I have projects in here. I think it's gone now, or yeah, my app one is suspended because I haven't oh no, I have violated some of policies, right? So usually I'm violating these policies because of the extraction processes that I'm doing. Sometimes I'm extracting a lot of data all of a sudden. So in such cases, they suspended. See, after they suspend, you can do anything somehow. Well, no worries at all. I'll show you the whole story of these APIs. Where the APIs, what you can do is you can go for create an app. Just simple thing. Then app name, my app, right? And next, it changes what of most source management delete is. All right. First of all, I need to delete that link. All right, you delete this one. I'll delete it. Nowadays, I can delete. I'll delete the app. Is that app? Test app. Yeah. All right. I'm going to delete the app. Find out is at all. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new app. Add app. Then you can add the stages to create in the application. I'm using for development. So I'm going to next. I can give a name, my app. Then next. Then oh, somehow they have blocked something. I need to check it again because I have blocked after a while, guys. For this one, production staging, I'm not sure. Staging they would allow, definitely not. Yeah, notice somehow that's fine. Sorry, I can't access to these APIs now because I haven't I have done some bad thing in here, so they have blocked me. See, they are, so I'm unable to do this one. And here you can see elevated access is given here, and some of accesses are here. Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, I have another app called test app. Well, I have usage, so they are telling how many data you can extract here. Number of tweets that I have pulled, it's just less zero at the moment. If I'm extracting, then I'll get a value in here with percentage and some of additional privileges that you can find. I want to show you this what we call API keys and stuff, but basically somehow I think they all blocked, but I will show you where is my key. Somehow, guys, that's fine. There is a key for this, but sorry for that. Uh, since they have blocked, it's got confused. What has happened here and there? API keys are not in there for some reason. For the authentication purposes and stuff, all the information in here, right? So you can go through all of these things, and there are rate limits that limiting the work that you want to access. Standard access and elevated and research access, it's the biggest one, right? Some of information here, this is an API. So by using this API we can extract data. I will demonstrate you one, not today, in this session 6 onwards. I will show you a complete story of this data extraction, processing, pre-processing part, data cleansing, then model development and stuff from session 6, 7 onwards. For during these two sessions, I don't want to pressure you that, but it's very basically these are like you can apply for this account, then you can go for these things very well. Somehow, sorry, even I have looked after a while for this account. Well, yeah, that's the whole story of these APIs, and there are a lot of information that you can gather to do. Right. Well, we'll do a small question and we'll take a break. The question would be this one, a simple question. It's not taking hours. So you can go for this question and you can go for questionnaire if you want. I can share it in the chat also. I have shared it in the chat, guys. I will share it in the chat. Yes. All right, you can take around 10 to 15 minutes, 10 minutes probably. I don't think so. You want 15 minutes to answer this simple question, right? So you can take around 10 to 15 nowadays at all. You can take that time. 10 minutes is more than enough. Then you can take a 15 minutes break and you can come to the seats again. So 11:30, I'm going to start the discussion, starting with these answers that you have given. So please give the answers. Don't just skip this questioning. So please do it. This is for you. Right. So 11:30, I would expect every student given an answer. Plus, you got a good break and come to the seats. All right. Any questions, guys? Any questions? All good? All right then. All right, I haven't received still the answers. I just waiting for the answers, guys. I haven't received that answers for the sheet. Yes, any ideas to share the answers, guys? Do you want more time? I don't think so. It's taking hours because it's quite easy question, set of questions. Yes, Tarak. Yeah, thanks. What submission? Yeah. All right. Others? You want more time? Thanks, Tejani. I don't think so. It takes time. It just a simple set of questions are there. All right. Somehow. So that's basically covers the discussion related to the data extraction. Now, the next part of our session would focus on the next stage of process. Can you see my screen?
No, sir.
Still no. Hmm. What about now?
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, so basically, after the initial thing is data, there should be a problem. Then the next one is basically taking to the next level. That is data collecting the required data. After the data collection, what we need to do is we need to focus on the third component, one of very important point again, that is cleaning the data. Why we want to clean the data? The very first question is why we want to clean the data, because data is in raw stage. Whenever data is in raw stage, we are unable to do any other thing. So the raw data do have a lot of inconsistencies, missing data, and many other pieces. So what we need to do is we need to focus on all the required components, all the required cleaning processes properly. Whenever we extract raw data, there might be an issues. Uh, there might be something that we want to process, we want to clean it, because even gold is in naturally in raw stage. We can't use it as it is, isn't it? We can't use raw gold because it's not purified, it's not cleaned, it's not something that we can use as it is. So what we need to do is we need to clean the data, similar clean the raw gold, then only we can use it. Similarly, uh, the raw data, the data that we extracted from any source, we want to go for a round to check is this data is in a usable level, whether the data can be used as it is. If it is not, then we have to do relevant activities to clean the data. So this discussion would mainly focus on how to clean the data. Basically, this time the initial round I'm going through theoretical work, and I'll demonstrate you some of examples with the data set. The third level, I'm giving a sample data set to clean the clean the data set and share it with me. Share the clean data set with me. So I'm giving a raw data set which is not processed, so very dirty. It's very dirty actually. The dirty data set I'm giving to you. So your job is clean the data. How to clean the data? I will show you some of example methodologies, techniques, and stuff to do. So I think you are clear with the plan that I'm going to discuss now. The first part will discuss the theories that related to this topic. Data cleansing involves identifying and correcting errors, inconsistencies, missing values, and other issues in the data. So all of these inconsistent data, raw data, needs to clean very well. If not, we might be into a big trouble. So basically, primary purpose is to improve its quality and reliability. The primary purpose of this work is to improve the quality of the data, right? So that's the primary purpose. We want to improve its quality very well, a well quality data set. Same example, if we take raw gold, the quality of that soil or the piece of the extracted, the raw level, very low quality. We can't do anything. So we want to purify it to improve the quality. There are different steps to be purified. The gold purification process, same thing that we are going to apply, like same thing in the sense, not the same activities, but similarly, we want to go for a process to clean the data. And it improves the reliability. The data set is reliable after cleaned. Unreliable to reliable. So the objective is improve the quality and make sure the unreliable data into reliable data process. Unreliable, initially the raw data is unreliable, so we want to keep or make sure our data set is very good, strong, and it's reliable to get a work done. This space is essential for making accurate predictions and decision makings, right? So a big process, defining a problem and extracting data, do not focus majorly or focus on like a big amount of portion in predictions and decision making. But from here onwards, after the data extraction, right? So the data extraction, the extracted data, it needs to clean. So if you do not clean the data, then we might into a big trouble at the end of the day. You know the reason behind. Now, well, after the cleaning, all the stories are happening. So basically, this phase is essential for making accurate predictions and decision making. So we want to create decision making. We want to go for very accurate predictions, right? Very, very well accurate predictions. So one of key point that we have seen in our context, garbage in, garbage out. Have you heard this term? Garbage in and garbage out. Garbage in means whenever we are feeding incorrect, inconsistent, or inappropriate data to our algorithm is known as garbage in. then the model will train, or the application will train, in your terms, the model will train according to these incorrect or made up data. So what happens then? Definitely the output is totally incorrect. Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, that means you are doing something incorrect or you are feeding bad data, so it predicts bad output. Garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. One possibility of this creating this garbage in process is we can feed the raw data. If we feed the raw data, definitely it's a garbage in, or we are feeding incorrect and inconsistent data. Clear? So it's our responsibility to clean the data very well. The steps that we can follow for this cleaning process is, first one is data auditing. This involves examining the data to identify potential issues such as missing values, duplicates, outliers, inconsistencies, and formatting errors. So some of issues might be there. Data auditing is focused on that one. What are the things? Examining the data to identify potential issues. So what are the issues? Missing values. What are the missing values? I'll repeat it few times again. So we have a data set, a tabular data set. We'll assume there are features. We have X, Y, and Z, right? We have X, Y, and Z. People are adding this data. So we have some data in here and there, right? I'm just telling some of data in these cells, in these places, features. For some reason, one is missing. This value is missing. And in here, we have this value, but this value is missing. Now, there are two places. You can see two places. We have this place and this place. These two places do have missing values. Missed. So data is missing. This is known as missing value. It's a simple term. So the data is missing. Next, duplicates. Duplicates are fine. Duplicates are fine. That's not a big deal. As an example, think a data set do have same values in here, 1 1 and 2 2. So these are not duplicates. That's fine. It's totally okay. Why? There's a possibility that X can have the same value and Y can have same value, but Z, we have two different values. Duplicates means if we have another row, 1 2, sorry 1 2 and 3. Now you can see there is a duplicate data set, that duplicate values are in this data set. What are the duplicate values we have? The duplicate values are this value set 1 2 3 and this 1 2 3. You can see these two columns are duplicated. These two columns do have exact same values for each and every feature. That means there is a issue in our data set, because the data set, think copied data. As an example, we have 5 rows in here, another 5 which is copied in here. So our algorithm might understand, all right, there is a possibility, there is, these are the data that we have. So it might be ends up with a big issue. Ends with a big issue. So these are the duplicates. Think here again 1 2 3. Here we have 1 2 3. Again think 1 2 4. It's a duplicated value. 2 nothing 5. 3 4 nothing. 3 4 nothing. Right? Duplicates. 3 4 nothing. Duplicates. 1 2 4 duplicates. Sorry. 1 2 4 duplicates. Right? 2 5 duplicates. So these values do not stage, or these values should not use for train our data set. So we want to clean the data set. So the first one is missing values. Second one is duplicates. Focus on the duplicates. If there are missing values, we have to do something to that, right? Something to do that. We have different mechanisms for these things. We can completely delete. We can go for a specific value and so on and so forth. We'll discuss that one. The other issue is duplicates. So we can delete all these duplicates if they are right. Clear? So this is another topic that we want to understand, examine the potential issues. Issues 1, issue 2, issues 3, outlier. Outliers I have discussed probably, but I'll discuss again. What is an outlier? Think we have X, Y, and Z. We have three different columns. The data set consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 10,000, 5, 6, and 4. For Y we have 8, 9, 7, 4, a big value in here, right? 8, 9, 7. And for Z also we have 0, 8, 7, 4, a big value, something like this. I don't know, I'm just randomly adding, guys, to make your life easier. 8, 0, 1. Now at a glance you should be able to figure it out, some issue in this data set. What is this? What is the issue in this data set? At a glance you should be able to see something that uncommon this instance. See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in here. We have 5, 6, 4 something in here. For X values, it's like less than 10. Here again for Y, it's less than 10. Z again, it's less than 10. Obviously, that's fine because the normal situation is like this. But all of a sudden, we have a big one, a big value, right? We have a big value in here, a big value in here. Now this is an outlier. This is an outlier. So something that totally out of our scope. Totally, if we create a graph, you should be able to see that the data set is going like this. This is the normal data set, we'll assume. And all of a sudden, the data that here 10,000, it starts from a big value all of a sudden. And it goes back again with something like. So this big value, some totally out of our scope, is known as outlier. So outlier detection is very important because outliers make the entire data set into unstable or inconsistent phase. As an example, if we think the average, I'm not going for discuss very hard things. Just think about average. Now, because of this single value, the entire average is going to wrong. As an example, if we delete this entire line, we have 1, 2, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 4. Some value might be there. Then if we take the average, it might be around, I don't know, I'm just telling a random value, 5 point something, right? 5 point something. But adding this 10,000 makes a big change. Sometimes I don't know, it might be goes around average might be around 2,000 around, I don't know, 2,000 something. Just you sum up, right? I know, I think you can do all these calculations, right? So it's a big issue. The real average would be 55, 5.5, right? 5.5, sorry, 5.5. But due to one single value, the entire average skewed a lot. So that's the issue that we have to focus on, these outliers. So the outliers are something abnormal behavior. We have to treat carefully these outliers again. Sometimes purposefully these people and that this data, some of these might be the real situation in a sense. As an example, think for a supermarket, average a person might purchase around 10,000 or something. We'll assume, right? We'll assume it's around 5,000 to 10,000, and all of a sudden there might be 100,000 a purchase. There might be. It's something that outlier. That's not usually happen, but we should be understand there is a possibility of this effect for the entire data set. So we want to treat outliers very carefully. If not, there might be some issues. We can't neglect as it is. Some of articles that I have seen, we can remove the data set, outliers. Yes, of course, that's fine. But my general suggestion is we have to analyze those outliers in a separate forum, not the same data set, but we have to take it out and we need to analyze it separately. What has happened, how these outliers behave. Sometimes it might be a really valuable. As an example, the same food, like what we call this, supermarket. Usually a person is purchasing having 10,000 or 5,000 to 10,000, and there's a big or rich guy who is purchasing 100,000. So it's a valuable person, right? It's a valuable person, and each and every month we can see recurrently this person is purchasing 100,000 in a specific day, 10th or 25th or 5th or something. So it's a valuable person. We can't neglect, we can't remove this outlier as it is. So the best possible solution that I would like to suggest is we have to treat these outliers separately. Sometimes it might be a totally different, it's just one outlier found for 1 million data set. At that such instances, we can delete it, no worries at all. But in the other hand, I would like to treat these outliers in a separate forum. Any questions up to now? Missing values, duplicates, and outliers? Tasul, Kalum, any issues? Tejani?
No, sir.
All
No,
good? Taruku? All good?
Yes.
Tejani? All good. Nice. So you got understood what are these concepts, right? These are very important to understand these things very well. We'll go to the next one. Inconsistencies and formatting errors. These are like common, guys, like inconsistency and formatting errors. Like a normal data set consists of 1 to 10 or something. Let me draw it for you. Think we have a data set like this, right? We have a data set, a big data set. We have 21, 12, some numeric values here. All of a sudden, A here, or minus 12. Some of formatting errors and inconsistencies, it's inconsistent. Some of formatting errors might be there. Like a column comes like shifted from this word, this one onwards, it was shifted a bit more. There is a possibility because of manual data editing. A person pasted this data into one Excel, and unfortunately the data set, second data set onwards, one cell gone there. For an example, think this is 21, this is B, this is 12, this is C, and this is K, and it should be comes to here, but unfortunately this is swapped a bit more. Swapped a bit more. This column should comes to here, this column comes to should here, isn't it? So some of formatting errors. Why I'm telling this tabular data, because still you are much familiar with tabular data. Tabular data means like the table kind of a data, but we have to focus on JSON and other unstructured and semi-structured data also. But initially we should familiar with these basics, right? What we want, what we learned. From on top of that, we can go through the rest, go to the rest of the things. Well, I think you got it. Outliers, inconsistencies, and formatting errors. Right. So the formatting errors are quite important, and it's very powerful that we want to focus on. If there is an inconsistency, how to handle formatting errors, if something gone wrong with the formatting, how to handle, how to modify it, how to tailor, and so on and so forth. These are the steps that we need to focus on. Well, all good. Next, after the data auditing, we need to go for data correction. This involves correcting errors and inconsistencies of data. Now we have audited, we have understood sequence of issues. Now these are not all the issues, but some of issues are like common issues. This involves correcting errors and inconsistencies in data, such as fixing typos, standardizing the format data, filling the missing values, etc. For an example, there is a missing value, so we can fill the missing value, or else we can delete the entire data set. Sometimes we have to fix the typos. Sometimes there might be a spelling error. Sometimes the data is a range of like 0 to 1 million. So we can standardize the data set, right? And the standardize the format of the data, right? The format might be like 0.00, right? We can take into 0.01 or something. Can standardize the data, how to focus on that kind of a data. Yeah, well, clear. So data correction, it's if we found some issue, we can go for data correction. It's easy, and we should understand what are the steps that we can go for data correction and how we can go for data correction. Data transformation, this involves transforming the data into a format that is suitable for analysis by applied techniques such as feature scaling, normalizing, encoding categorical variables, reducing dimensionality. As an example, we can start with transforming data. Transforming means whatever a range that we can use. As an example, think the data set distributed for a big scale. Think it goes from 0 to 1 million. I'm just telling again, 1 million. A big or large range of values, or 10 million or something. Then we can scale it. We can scale it how the data is going through. And for the normalizing, we can go for a specific different kinds of algorithms are there for normalization, right? How to normalize the data set. We'll discuss some of the normalization techniques and how we can go for the normalization too. Encoding categorical variables. What are these encoding categorical variables? As an example, we can have some of values like gender, male, female, right? Male, female. Then we can go for 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 kind of thing. Categorical data needs to address properly. Dimensional reduction, how to focus on dimensional reduction. What is this dimensional reduction? We'll discuss all of these things in future, like today itself, how this transformation process is going through and how we can develop all of these processes very well. Next, we'll discuss about data integration, which involves combination of data from multiple sources, creating a single data set, which may involve resolving differences in variables, formatting units, and measures, and so on and so forth. A lot of things might be there. Data integration usually comes with mainly two sources. One is a standard source or the statistics source that we have found or using for the data analysis and extracted. As an example, data set in an Excel file or some of CSV file or any other place, the data is stored. Next, number two is we have to focus on real world data, sensor data, real time sensor data. Now, two data sets we have. One is a data set that extracts same data generating. In here we have a data set, a tabular data set. We'll assume for now that this data set we have all the information stored in here. We have developed algorithm based on this data. Well, that's fine, but we are going to use to predict this kind of a thing, a future based on this sensor data. So the data sets might be in a different column names. As an example, same rainfalls, this might have RF. Then for this one, it might be RINF. Same data, same rainfalls, but two different names. So we want to map these two into one single column with rainfalls. So the data integration, how to integrate. And some of the time, like this might generate 17 features, this might generate 12 features. So we want to integrate. Some of the values are not in here, some of values are in here. So we want to create a combination of these two data sets, and then we want to create a proper data set. That's the focus on data integration. Data verification. This involves verifying that the data set has been cleaned and transformed correctly, and there are no remaining errors and or inconsistencies. After the data cleaned, after the data transformation, after data audited, corrected, the transformation, integration, and everything that we have done, then now we have to go for a data verification. Whether this data is cleaned very well, and whether we can use that data for our day-to-day use. Whether we can use this data for our day-to-day use, or to develop the model that we want to develop, or whether this fit for the algorithm that we are focusing on, and so on and so forth. It's a big and a detailed uh, point that you need to understand. To come to this data verification, it should be follow many things, like testing purposes, random testing, many other activities that we want to go for data verification. We can go for statistics to check whether the data is in a proper shape. We can go for general math and check whether it's okay. We can visualize the data set, whether to check whether data is distributed properly, and so on and so forth. That's data verification. So we have gone through some of like overview of steps, but you might find different steps discussed in different books and journals and different places. Yeah, I would like to agree for most of them. I have generalized some of the things to like that applicable for your context, which is fit for you. But if you feel no, we have to do these kinds of changes, yeah, I'm totally agree with you. You can do for those changes, but it should be a valid change. All of a sudden you can't go for verification at the beginning, right? So first of all, you need to go for auditing or something that fit for that, and then now you have to go for different steps, then you can go for verification. Or else you can do for different places. As an example, after the data correction, you can go for verification. Still, if it is not good, then you can go for data transformation, then a verification, then the data integration, then for verification. That some of frameworks we have, that's why I'm telling. Some of frameworks that they are telling, after the correction, go for a verification. Data transformation, go for verification. If still it's something that we want to go focus on, go for integration and go for verification, and so on and so forth. Clear? So it's a bit detailed work, but I'm pretty sure you could be able to grasp and go through very well these steps one by one by doing practicals. Actually, these are not theory subjects; these are practical subjects. So we'll do some practicals in next session, so you could be able to understand these things very well. Yes, some of techniques. Now these are the steps or the structures that we can follow for this analysis. What are the techniques that we can follow? Removing duplicates. As an example, in this situation, we have a lot of data with missing values, and that data set do have large number of tables. As an example, I think I have a single uh, tabular data set. This consists of 2 billions of records, 2 billions of records, and there is 5 duplicates in my data set. 5 duplicates. These data values are duplicated. So what you can do? Yeah, well, what you can do, you can delete these 5 rows without any problem. Why? I have 2 billion. By removing 5 values, I don't think so there's a big trouble for me. I don't think so it's a big trouble, right? I have 5 billion records. Even I have only 10, even I have 10, by keeping these duplicate values, there's no value generated and my system will get into a big trouble. Hence, whenever we have duplicates, the best approach is delete it as it is, regardless of the size of the data. Because the size of the data, we have to remove the duplicates. Then it might be like some of the data set might get into a compressed version or like smaller version. That's fine. That's totally okay. Even the normal what we call the data scientist forum that I have seen, sometimes after cleaning the data set, after it remains only 10-20 percentage of data, that means 80 percentage is removed. Sometimes there might be a situation like that. That's fine. It's totally okay for us. For data scientists, that's not a big deal. It's totally okay. Next, well, handling missing values. We have different techniques that we need to focus on this. Missing values, we'll get an example. This involving missing data, either removing rows or filling in missing values using techniques such as mean imputation, median imputation, or interpolation. So I'll give some of examples, right? I don't like, guys, these imputations unless the data distribution is very well. As an example, think we have 1 million of data, 1 million of data. Then we have some of values in here. This value is missing. This is the missing value. 1 2 3 4 5 and 7 8 6 5 1 2 5 1 2 3 x c and blah 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 blah. Right? Data set is there with different values, but if we take the distribution of the distribution of data is like nearly standardized distribution. Yeah, well, that's nicely distributed data and the data set is large. In such instances, yeah, we can go for imputation. That's generally okay, but my general suggestion is, if you have a large data set, just give a try by removing this entire column, sorry, row. Remove the data set and check the work or develop the algorithm or whatever you want. Next, you do some of imputations and check the same thing. Sometimes by removing, the accuracy might be higher than imputation. Accuracy of your model might be higher than this imputation. As an example, we have 3 in here, 4 in here, 7 in here, and the rest of the date, like all of like similar to this one is in here. We'll assume 15 altogether, right? 15 altogether. 1 2 3 4 5. We'll take into 5 another, we'll add another one and we'll make into 3, right? So we have 3 7 1 7 3 3 7 1 1, right? Altogether it's 15 for 5, so the average is 5. So we can fill this missing value as 5. That's the story of this imputations, mean and median. Fill with a median or fill with a mean value. We'll do practically some of these examples, and we'll take some of sample data sets and we'll see, experiment all of these things, how these things are working, or how we can go for interpolation and stuff. Yeah. Don't worry, just for theories, we'll do some practicals, then it might be much easy for you. Removing outliers, as I told you, some of extreme values are known as these outliers. We can delete it as it is. Yeah, I agree, that's fine. That's the easiest thing, right? We can remove the outliers, but identify far from the average, and either removing them or transforming them to be more in line to the rest of the data. So what we can do is we can remove the data and analyze the data set, or else we can transform the data, as we discussed early. We can transform the data, then we can align to the existing data. That's fine, that's totally okay. But my general suggestion is, take all of these data like outliers and perform a separate analysis. Sometimes you might find an interesting pattern for these outliers. Those are, then you can treat those data as a separate data set. But be careful. This is not academically valid type, right? This is something that proposing by myself. So it's not a proper standard mechanism, but I feel that is much stronger. It's much easy for you rather than just deleting and doing something. That's the story of this removing outliers. Standardizing data. This involves converting data into a common format or scale so that it can be compared and analyzed more easily. Yeah, we have learned all of this standardized data, how this data can be standardization process, going through a standardization process and so on and so forth. We'll do some of practicals and learn a bit more. Encoding categorical data, as I shown you. What was that? Activate Windows is disturbing. No worries. Bad people. All right, now it's fine. Right. Encoding categorical data, as I discussed, some of categorical data is inconsistent, or we want to transform it to a proper type, right? Proper type, so we can use it for a machine learning algorithm. We have techniques like one-hot algorithm and one-hot encoding, and many of types are there for categorical handling my categorical data. So we'll do some of practicals and we'll learn in a practical manner how to focus on these concepts further more. Right. So I have basically given you some of two important things. One is steps and some of techniques that we can use for our work. For basically the cleaning process, how the cleaning process can improve, or how to take purified data, right? How to take purified data and do the work and analysis and start the work done. Right. So that covers the theoretical components for you. Next session, I'm focusing on practicals. And as I told you, the part two is some of demonstrated by myself. The part three is comes to your head. So hang on me with the next session, so you could be able to understand a lot in a practical by doing some experimental work. You know, guys, without doing experimental work, you can't learn. These kinds of subjects should be like experimented a lot, then only you can understand all of these xyz things. Right? Clear? Any questions? මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න තියෙනවද? මම කතා කළේ තනි කරම කියන්නේ තියරි පැත්ත මේ data cleansing. අපි දැන් මුලින්ම කතා කරපු දේවල් වලින් මුලින්ම මම ගත්තේ problem එකක් define කරගන්න එක. අපි problems define කරගමු. ඒක ලොකු issue එකක් නේ අපිට problem define කරගන්න එක. Second stage එක තමයි data gathering කියන එක. මම කතා කළා data gather කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. මේ session එකේ පළවෙනි part එකේදී second part එකේදී පළවෙනි part එකේ revision component එක ගියේ. second part එකේදී මම කතා කළා ඔයගලන්ට data gathering කියන process එක කොහොමද කරන්නේ, data gathering කියන එක වැදගත් ඇයි, මොනවද තියෙන techniques කියන එක. third එකේ තමයි මේ අපි theory part එක කතා කළේ data cleaning කියන එක. එතකොට අපි ඊළඟ session එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම focus වෙන්නේ මේ data cleaning කියන process එකට. එතකොට data cleaning කරන්නේ කොහොමද සහ data cleaning කියන එකේ වැදගත්කම ඔයගලන්ට practically theory දැන්ට කතා කරේ theory ටික චුට්ටක් පුරන්න වෙලාව තියෙනවනේ. දැන් අපිට තව වෙලාව තියෙනවනේ එකටනේ ඊළඟ session එකදී එකේ session එකට කලින් මේකම ආයෙත් පොඩ්ඩක් go through කරන්න. ඔයගලන්ට මම slides ටික එවන්නම්, chat එකට දාන්නම් සහ මේකටත් දාන්නම්, telegram එකටත් දාන්නම්. ඔයගලන්ට චුට්ටක් එකත් go through කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මේ තියෙන වෙලාවේ මහන්සි වෙනා ලොකු අවුලක් නෑ. අපි හිමීට කරගෙන යන්න. හරි, ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද මොනවා හරි? any questions? Dasun, any questions? Kalum, any questions?
No, sir.
No, all good. Kalum,
No, sir.
මොනවාට තේරෙන්නේ නැද්ද තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. මොකද මේ එක පාරටම මේ සමහර එක්කලට මේවා absorb කරගන්න අමාරු වෙයි. දැන් මේ මම මේ practice එකෙන්නේ කියන්නේ. එතකොට මේ ඔයාලා සමහරවිට absorb කරගන්නකොට පොඩි අමාරුකම් තියෙයි, මොනවද මේ වෙන්නේ කියලා වගේ චුට්ටක්. එහෙම හිතේ ලොකුවට හිතන්න එපා. අපි හිමීට කරගෙන යන්න. හරි, කරගෙන යනකොට එක එක කරගෙන යයි. කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. අපි බලමු තව. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලත් ගෙදරදී practical කරන්න ගොඩක්. එතකොට තමයි මේක මේ හොඳට hands on තියෙන්න ඕනේ. කියන්නේ පුළුවන් තරම් hands on මයි තමයි තියෙන්න ඕනේ මේ subjects. Tejani, all good? Any issues? Tejani? No. All right then. Right. That's it for the this session. We'll meet in the next session. So the next session would be practical work. So if you haven't set up your environment, you can set up during the break time. Then if you haven't installed any packages and stuff, don't worry, I will give some time for you to experiment and install and do all of these things. Well, so we'll see what happens in next session. Would be an interactive and very interesting coding time. All right, happy? All good? All right, then we'll meet 1 o'clock and we'll continue the discussion. Please join at 1 o'clock. Any questions, Sargo?
No, sir.
All right, then we'll meet at 1 o'clock. There is a new link for that. Please join from that link.